Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at this. This, my friends, is a troubled record format from 1967 called Hip Pocket Records. Now this is actually a very interesting story. So in 1967, Philco, who was part of Ford, decided it would be a good idea to come out with a new record format. That's what everybody needed, right? A new record format. But unlike the unwieldy, breakable, awkward, and large 45 or 33 7-inch records, or even worse, their bigger brothers, the 12-inch LP, this is something that was cool, it was hip. And does that mean hip pocket, like your hip pocket? Or is it the hip pocket record? I think it's hip pocket is the idea because we got the dash there. But anyway, they're like, you know what? The world needs a new record format and we're going to bring it to market. 1967. So unlike those old school records, kids, and this is what this was marketed towards, teenagers, could buy for only 69 cents, not one, but two hip songs by artists such as Percy Sledge and others. And they would partner with different record labels. In this case, this is Atlantic Records, but they partnered with others and they brought these to market. So what is this exactly? It's kind of bizarre. The idea was that, you know, you put it in your pocket, you collect them, you trade them. I liken this to sort of the first ever generation of tradable hip records. You know, put them in your pocket, trade them with your friends, kind of like pocket rockers, or what was the other one that came out like 10 years later? Something like that. So yeah, here we go. We've got Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman, Baby Help Me. And it's in this cardboard sleeve. They are 45 RPM. They are under exclusive arrangement with Atlantic Records. So 1967, they're like, you know what, we need this. A little card in here just to keep the record rigid. And why? Because the record is a flexi disc, sort of. It's actually kind of a dense semi-flexi disc, and I'm not sure the material these are made out of. I'm assuming it's a plastic, you know, just similar to a flexi disc is really what it seems. So probably an embossed groove or stamped in such a way that you get that typical sound quality that you would expect from a flexi disc record. So the shallower grooves, not going to have quite the same fidelity as a regular record. So on there we see 45 RPM, Philco, Ford. It's interesting to see a Philco Ford label or branding on there. Typical size spindle hole. One of the things was the selling point, 69 cents would buy you not one but two hip songs. Now, in order to make these records, they actually custom mixed either mono custom mixes or existing mono mixes for these records. So it would take two channels and, you know, put them into one monaural groove, which we see here. Labels only on one side, but the groove is on both. And in some cases, like I said, they would make custom mixes just for these releases. So yeah, pretty straightforward. It seems like a good idea, but there's a couple of problems with this. First of all, they were coming out with songs that were already past their prime and no longer on the charts. So not a lot of kids were super interested in it. They were a few years old, these songs, by the time they hit this format. The second thing was these guys were really out of their league in a sense. You know, Ford, Philco, you know, getting into this industry, it was just kind of a shot in the dark and one that didn't ultimately pay off. And they even had competition. There was a company called Americom that made a pocket disc, which was very, very similar. However, theirs also was available in these cool vending machines, unlike the hip pocket records that you have to go to Woolworths for to find these on the shelf. But still cool, and today, a super neat thing. Now, the other problem was, what are you going to play it on? Now, you may be saying, oh, a 3-inch record, I'll put it on our little mini cruiser. That seems like a good idea. Couple of problems with that. First of all, this isn't a 3-inch record. It is, I've seen mixed reports, it's either 3 1/4 or 4 inches. Any way you look at it, it's too big. It hangs over the sides. And the spindle adapter, so I guess 3 problems. The spindle isn't the right size, as you can see. You know, it's moving around loose on there, so that's not going to work. The next problem with this format, well, first of all, let's measure it too. Just happen to have a tape measure here. Okay, that is 4 inches, my friends. So Not 3 inches, not 3 1/4, that is 4 inches. So the next thing is, what player are you gonna put this on? The third problem is there's no player, that will accommodate this. This didn't exist back then. So you're saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna put a regular, let's use a cruiser type of player, suitcase player. But the problem here is that that's not a smooth platter. And a lot of record players back then weren't smooth either. So you put this down there, it's like, there's a lot of give there. There's a lot of void space. So what are you gonna do? Okay, now we need to add another, flat something under there, like another record. So now we've got to add another record to play this record. So this is getting a little bit more convoluted. And so the kids were like starting to lose a little bit of interest, no big surprise. Let me zoom in a little bit there. So you know what? Philco Ford's like, wait, we got you. We're going to come out with this cute little record player to play your cute little 4-inch records. And all of a sudden you need a special record player. They're not really good on your existing record player. And you know what I mean? The songs are old and, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, suffice to say, it was gone by 1969. It was a completely failed format and the world moved on. So today, these are kind of cool and a little collectible. So let's go ahead and listen to it. Oh, what's going on there, you guys? We've got another problem. And that, my friends, was yet another problem. When they tried to play these on their home record player, the auto reject would engage before it even reached, see how it's stopping? Before it even reached the groove. That's because it's such a small record and we weren't set up for that. So we can put our auto stop in the off position on this record player and override that. But that was another consideration. But let's go ahead and listen to it. I think we need a quarter or something on there because it's acting a little bit. I don't have a quarter. I got a chapstick. Put a chapstick on there. Okay. This is nothing but the finest technology here, you guys. So we got a little bit of weight on there. So now we need that as well. I'm going to put our tone arm on here and finally get to listen to this record. If we can catch that running groove. Hopefully. Oh yeah, 45 RPM. That's another reason why we can't use the Crosley Mini Cruiser and the RSD3 is it's 45 RPM, whereas the new modern 3-inch format is 33. There you go, guys. We finally got music out of there, and this highly copyrighted music, so we're going to flip it over, and we are going to play a little bit of the B-side, as it were. So an interesting format. Again, thanks to Vardamark for helping with this. He's got every kind of cool format. Check out his channel. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. He sent us a bunch of cool things to look at. Turn off that. Lower our stylus and hear a little bit of this song. You can see why this didn't take off. Sound quality is actually not too bad. But anyway, there you go, guys. That is the Philco / Ford Motor Company attempt at a record player format. The hip Pocket Records, not to be confused with the Americom Pocket Disc, which was also a failed format, but interesting footnote in the history of vinyl records. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that show as much as I did researching it and putting it together for you. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, share it out, tell your friends, definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss future content. And thank you so much for being there. I appreciate it more than you can imagine. So for now, happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.